Hey y'all, this is Gaming Granny coming at you, and first of all, trigger warning, this is a violent video game. If you are not into that, that's totally cool. Just leave a thumbs up and slide right on out the door. I've got about 50 some other videos in there if you want to look at one of them. Or some of my subscribers have told me that they will sit somewhere where they don't have to watch the screen but can still hear my voice. Disclaimer. This channel is an entertainment channel. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is to lighten people's bad time or days by making fun of an old lady playing games. So, and I'm said old lady. Anything that's talked about here, you need to do your own research and come up with your own beliefs and opinions. If we were all exactly the same, this world would be super boring. Okay, now, I do have an extra trigger warning tonight, and I'll give you that after the shout-outs, which I'm doing now. Alright, first shout-out, OK Ricky. It's Ricky it's OK is 2 letters. And Ricky has an extra Y, I believe. Okay. He lost his dad about 3 months ago, unexpectedly. So if y'all could stop by and let him, you know, cheer him up a little bit, I would appreciate it. You know, that's how we like to do stuff. We like to be there for others, and you know, yeah, just be kind, be polite, and let him know that you stopped by, and that's all there is to it. Okay?
Enemy harp established above.
Proximity mine planted.
Yeah, too bad it's over where they're gonna have to probably step beside it to get it. We'll find out. Okay, next is Suzanne Tickmeyer. Suzanne is a previous writer for a place called Pathos, and she did a column there for about 10 years on Quiverful and evangelical religions. If you haven't heard of Quiverful, it's a denomination of Baptists, it seems. We'll just say evangelicals. Who think that there is a verse in the Bible that says that a man's the man whose quiver is full of the children of his youth. So, yeah, so they think that they should have as many children is as physically possible, and even beyond that point, because I've heard them say that you know, even if the wife does have issues, to keep producing. Okay, next, Claire Bear and her channel Claire View. Now, I don't know if she's still doing them or not, but she has some panel discussions that are pretty good. And at one time she was doing Reddit's Am I the A-hole? And they would read the story put on there by people, and then we would go through it and we would decide who was being the a-hole in the situation, or if indeed more than one of them or all of them were. So go and check her out. And then last but not least is Gabs with Abigail. Now, Abigail has done 2 book series so far, and one was on growing up Duggar that Jill, Jana, Jessa, and Ginger wrote as teenagers. And the other is Jill Rodriguez's book. I assume she's going to do the same with the 2 Duggar Girls books, Ginger Vuolo and Jill Dillard. Alright, so now we're going to get into tonight's story. As I mentioned before, it is about 9/11. I'm not going to do this very often, but I do love history, and there are certain things in this world that should not be forgotten ever. Okay? Now, the first, I'm going to concentrate on 2 I'm going to concentrate on 2 documentaries that are newer. And one of them, I was shocked. I didn't even know these people did that kind of work. Yeah. The first one we're going to talk about is a TMZ Investigates. Okay, how many of y'all knew TMZ was investigating? Somebody tell me in the comment section. And was it Jokey Smurf that used to leave the bombs everywhere? And let me know if I'm wrong, because I've been calling it a Jokey the whole time, and I don't want to do that if I'm not right. Okay. Let's get right into this one. Now, the next one, I'm just going to give you the context and ask you to find it and watch it. And then I'm going to ask you to come back and tell me what you thought of it, because I thought it was very inspirational.
Neutralize.
So, that being said, that was something else, wasn't it? Okay, TMZ investigates the fifth plane. This starts on September 11th at 8 a.m. A few minutes before 8. The plane was scheduled to take off at 8. Okay, this is a, the plane we're talking about here is United 23. It was a plane going from JFK to LAX.
CIA team, defend
So,
our freedom.
Again, it fits the pattern of the other ones. Bigger airport, lots of traffic, and going from east to west almost as far as you can, mileage-wise. Because,
Enemy RCXD detected.
so, United 23. JFK to LAX. They were having difficulties because they were waiting on United's kitchen staff, culinary dietary, whatever they call it, to bring some more food plates for Muslim passengers.
Deploying Prox mine.
Okay, they were supposed to take off at 8 a.m. But they were waiting on these food plates. I think she called them cheese plates. I don't know. I'm not Muslim, so I really don't know. Not that I want anyone to make a big deal out of that, because I don't. Everybody deserves to believe whatever they believe. And we all need to just be nice when at all possible. As Patrick Swayze says in Roadhouse to his bouncers, be nice.
Enemy care
Be
package above.
nice. And 2 or 3 of you walk him to the door. If one of you's not enough, be nice and bring extras and still be nice and take him to the door. One of my,
Cruise missile inbound.
well, he was my one of my hall passes. Yeah, too bad he's gone, huh? I really liked him. So of course I told you what my favorite movie is too. Okay, so dietary is supposed to be bringing them more of this food, these cheese, and they're waiting on them, and then they're gonna tell. Then they're gonna tell the over the mic that they're ready to take off.
Enemy RCXD detected.
So,
Enemy spy plane inbound.
well, I placed that one really good because it killed me and him both. Okay, so while they were getting all that taken care of and getting the more food onto the plane, it gave them time to, you know, get the customers situated and settled and ready to go. In first class, they had a family of 3, what appeared to be a family of 3 Muslims. So, okay. So,
Enemy sentry turret detected in your AO.
one of the
Enemy
three
RCXD
was a
detected.
little boy. One
Hostile
was a
sentry
man
turret
who was
active.
dressed impeccably like a Western CEO kind of guy. And one was a person wearing a burqa. Now, if you don't know what a burqa is, don't feel bad. I had to look it up myself. It is a robe, usually black, and the only thing you can see is the person's eyes.
Multiple enemy sentry turrets
Now,
active.
everyone on the plane who was on the staff that interacted with this person in the
Hostile care
burqa
package inbound.
swore that
Be
it was a
advised,
man.
Hostiles have multiple inbound care packages.
So that was kind of odd
Splash.
because men don't usually wear those, but I guess
Heads up. Hostile gunship above.
everybody thought that was, as long as everybody thought it was a woman, it looked like a whole family. The gentleman, the CEO looking gentleman, asked if his son could see the cockpit. Thankfully, in 2001, they were not taking people up to see cockpits anymore. So that they were told that would not be possible. So
CIA, we're almost out of time.
also in business class there were two men. One looked like a Middle Eastern bodyguard or
Net call. Incoming
something
artillery.
similar, and the other one looked like he had a t-shirt that he dried up 3 to 5 gallons of sweat in and then put it back out. He was sweating profusely, they said. So they're waiting on food to bring this stuff. And I don't know how many planes were there that morning, but this was one that is almost, at least I don't know what their schedule is, but on certain days at certain times from one place to another is a set route, and some of these pilots fly that route all the time, and the flight number is the same all the time on it. So because I know with the American airline it said at first they thought it was flight 12, but flight 12 was from California back to the East Coast. So the guy in first class, the CEO looking guy, is calling the stewardesses and asking them what the problem is, because it's already it's probably 8:15 by this point, and he wants to take off. And she's saying, wait, we gotta wait for food. Y'all can't eat what we've got, and we're waiting for them to bring you some food. He said, we don't care about food. We want to leave. So they wanted to take off. And she told them they weren't taking off until the food got there. And she reminded him, this could be a 6-hour flight. You're going to need something to eat. And he was like, no, no, we don't need food, we just need go. We just need to go. Get us up in the air. But of course, they were going to wait on the meals, regardless, because if something happens in that 6 hours that they change their mind, there ain't nothing on there they can feed them. So,
Fight with pride, DJI.
they were waiting for
Target removed.
Okay, so they finally got the meals and were getting ready to take off. And the pilot was told to taxi. Now, ordinarily when he taxis around the corner, there's usually 2 or 3 planes is all. On 9/11, when he taxied around the corner, there were 9 to 12 planes waiting to take off. So, he told him, he said, looks like we're in a little bit of a traffic jam here this morning, so everybody just be calm and patient.
Throwing Semtex.
So while they're waiting in line, and you know by this time it's, you know, probably looking closer to 8:30, and there's probably planes that are in line that were there at 8, 8:15, 8:20, 8:30, and they're all still waiting. So, when the first plane hits the first tower at 8:46, those planes still had not taken off. So, they were told over the radio that their planes were going to be brought back to the to where they the gate, to the gate. So they took the plane back to the gate, got all the passengers off. The crew started doing their safety checks and stuff that they do when they are leaving a plane, checking the bathrooms and making sure that the hatches in the floor are indeed closed. And in this case, they're getting the plane ready to be locked up.
Multiple hostile RCXDs operating.
So all the people are gone off the plane. They're checking it. They've checked it.
Hostile spy plane
And
established overhead.
a United maintenance worker came onto the plane, and he told the captain and the co-pilot, he said, come on, I'm here to watch you lock down the plane and, you know, to lock up the plane. And he asked him, he said, did you check everywhere on the plane? And they told him yes. Because they had. He said, you can bet that my staff did, is what the pilot told him. So, they leave JFK, because what happened was at 8:46 when the first plane hit, Rudy Giuliani was calling people, telling them close the bus terminal, close the airports, close bridges, tunnels, path trains, anything that could be the next target was shut down in New York almost instantaneously. Unfortunately, the second plane was already in the air and very close to its destination, as we know. So this,
Multiple hostile spy
the
planes detected.
flight crew for United 23 goes into the city and gets
Enemy RCXD
hotel
detected.
rooms. And one of them called United, and because of what she was seeing on the news, she called United and said, well, you might want to look at some of what went on with us today, because I'm beginning to wonder if we got airborne, what would happen. And United asked her why she was saying that, and she explained to them all the weird stuff that they considered weird that was going on. So, later that night, while they're all asleep, and, everybody got their own room. So it wasn't like they were having a big slumber party or anything like that. So the FBI goes from room to room, waking them up one at a time and interviewing them. Oh yeah, that has to be fun, doesn't it? Being woke up in the middle of the night by the FBI. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Not. So they told them what had been told to United, and they were questioning the crew on everything. Oh, they really didn't. They really wanted to take off. They didn't want to wait for the food to be put on the plane, and stuff like that.
Hostile care package inbound.
So, while they're talking to the pilot, they say, can we ask you a hypothetical? He said, you can ask me whatever you want. I'm telling you the truth about everything anyway, because
Enemy RCXD
I've been doing
detected.
this work for, 3 decades or something crazy. He was a pilot that could have retired but hadn't, probably, or was getting close to retirement,
Multiple hostile sentry turrets
was my
working your AO.
understanding. And they asked this pilot, they said, is there any reason that y'all would have left the plane and left the hatches and the floor open? And the pilot thought for a minute and said, no, we never leave those open. And they had also asked the purser this question, and she's like the head flight attendant, I think. And she said, no, there's no reason. That would never have happened, because we wouldn't have been able to disembark from the plane ourselves if it had been left that way. If the hatches had been open, we wouldn't have been able to get out of there, because it's wider than a person can step. So, and the pilot said, now, can I ask you a question? The FBI guy said, yeah, go ahead. And he said, why are you asking me about the hatches in the floor? And the FBI guy looked at his partner and shrugged, and they told him. Because somebody working the grounds at JFK, either unloading the baggage from the planes that didn't get to take off, or maintenance, or something, saw people running through your plane 20 minutes to a half hour after you locked it and left. And he's like, why would anybody want to get back on the plane? And the FBI guy was like, well, that's kind of what we were hoping you would tell us. And he said, well, the only thing I can think of is if they had some kind of something that they left on the plane somewhere and they needed to get it back before you guys found it. And the FBI said, you're sure that's the only thing it could have been? Yeah. I've been flying for all these years, yeah. The FBI also told him when his plane was parked at the gate, the plane next to him, the serial numbers on the tail were only 1 digit different. So basically, you know how if you have a phone number, and somebody accidentally leaves the last number off, you can go through and dial 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, until you get the right number to make the whole number. Like that. So with a 6 instead of a 7, or a 5 instead of a 4. Something like that. Well, what the FBI shared with this guy, this pilot, was that the plane next to theirs that had the number 1 off, literally, they found box cutters in the backs of the seats. Now, like I said, this is a TMZ investigate, so don't take any word for it. Just look it up. Look it up. Now here, in my opinion, is where United Airlines shows that they are a-holes.
Free for all.
Okay? These stewardesses were told they could get a plane home with the company if they wanted, but they would have to work it as a stewardess. And when they said, we can't do that, we're too traumatized to fly. We don't even want to fly to get home.
Threat down.
So United Airlines brings in a doctor of their own and this doctor literally looks these stewardesses in the eye and says, oh, come on, you're no more traumatized than anyone else who was from this incident. These poor people that were on that plane working when all this happened had to sue United to get their disability payments. Yeah. And most of them never set foot on a plane again. I don't know I know that was with the stewardess staff mostly. I don't know for sure about the pilot or the co-pilot, if they flew after that or not, but...
Enemy spy plane inbound.
That guy's frustrating me.
Enemy RCXD detected.
Okay, now, the next one, I'm just going to give you the title and how to find it. Okay, the next one is Boat Lift 911 Resilience. It is narrated by none other than Tom Hanks. That's right, Woody the Cowboy. So, and you can find it on any Reactors page on YouTube. 90%. Okay, so if you go and you find that and you watch it, come back and tell me what you think. If you don't want to tell me on here, you want to be more private about it, that's fine too. All lowercase at gmail.com. And I'll have that down in one of the boxes with all these trigger warnings and such. So, I hope this went well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters.
Hostile spy plane established overhead. Multiple hostile spy planes detected. Enemy air patrol inbound.
Throwing Semtex.